it certainly is a crisis, and we don't bear responsibility for a broken system, and we're doing a tremendous amount within that broken system. But fundamentally, Congress is the only one who can fix it.
DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas deflecting blame for the border crisis as House Republicans vow to impeach him over it. Fox News' Bill Melugin has witnessed the chaos at the border firsthand. He joins us now. I mean, aren't these people in power to fix it if it's broken?
Well, Sandra, what's significant about that Meet the Press interview with Mayorkas is it's the very first time that I can recall in my 3 years of covering the border where he has finally admitted that what's happening at the border is a crisis. Keep in mind, he's always decided to call it a challenge. He did that with Bret Baier in his interview with him last month. So we're starting to see a little bit of shift in language with the Biden administration. In the meantime, we work with Fox Nation. We got a brand new documentary that came out today called Border Crisis 24/7, where they embedded with myself and other correspondents at different hotspots along the border, primarily during the month of December, which, as you'll recall, is the worst single month in U.S. history at the southern border. More than 300,000 migrant encounters. They embedded with us as we were doing some behind-the-scenes stuff. Here's a little sneak peek of some of what they saw with us. Border Patrol and federal contractors were trying to fix a hole in the wall that smugglers cut when a huge surge of illegal immigrants came pushing through that gap, trying to get into the United States and successfully doing it before Border Patrol could fix it. They were trying to weld it, and all these people started pushing through the hole in the wall. And you'll notice there's a human smuggler dressed in black right on the other side of the wall. He sees our camera. He kind of just gives us a shrug and then salutes us, essentially saying, hey, there's nothing they can do about it. Border Patrol has been finding these cuts in the wall all over the place. They try to fix them. There's nothing they can do about it. They say it's like a game of whack-a-mole, completely unsustainable. About 2,000 to 3,000 crossing right here every single day. So that was in Lukeville, Arizona. What's unique about this documentary is typically when we do live shots with you guys, Sandra, we only get about 90 seconds to show what's going on down there. This documentary has a lot of behind-the-scenes footage, things we weren't able to get on the air. And you can take a look at some more clips right here. We went to different parts of the border: Lukeville, Arizona, Rio Grande Valley in Texas, Eagle Pass in Texas, Jacumba in San Diego sector, where we shot all sorts of different things that were going on. Different correspondents, myself, Griff Jenkins, Matt Finn. Take a look at this montage right here. This is Lukeville, Arizona. And the idea is we're trying to show you what's going on and what you can't really see in our live shots. Keep in mind, these numbers are on track to set a record for the 4th year in a row now. We've had CBP migrant encounters just since October 1st, topping 1 million. That is just in a little over 3 months. These numbers are shooting through the roof again. And remember, we are in the slow time of the year right now, Sandra. When we get into those spring and summer months, these numbers are probably going to take off like a rocket ship again. So if anybody would like to check out this documentary, it is streaming live on Fox Nation right now. You can get on there and watch it. Again, you can see it at the bottom of your screen. 24/7 Border Crisis. It's about 25 minutes long. A lot of great footage we shot primarily in December, showing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff of what's happening at our southern border every single day, which Mayorkas is now finally calling a crisis. And just the other week, President Biden himself finally admitted that the border is not secure. We are starting to finally see a shift in language coming out of the Biden administration, Sandra.
And Bill, it's such a great point that you make, because you look back as you know, we have seen clip after clip of the years leading up to this moment where they're acknowledging this as a crisis, where they were in most times in denial that this was even happening. And you think about all the warnings from Republican lawmakers in that moment to the administration: do something. This is going to get worse. This is going to get worse. And now we are at that point, Bill.
Yeah, and think about how far we've come. We used to have the White House saying, well, this is seasonal, it ebbs and flows. It's the sort of thing that happens every year. They said that people aren't just walking across the river. They said that when they do, they're not trying to stay here long. We had Karine Jean-Pierre last May saying that mass releases aren't happening. We've repeatedly heard them say that the border is secure, that it's not a crisis, it's a challenge. Now everything is doing a 180. We're hearing President Biden himself saying, no, I've never thought the border is secure. And we just heard Mayorkas himself in that Meet the Press interview say it is, quote, certainly a crisis. And he told Bret Baier last month he would not call it a crisis. He would only call it a challenge. So you're right. There's something shifting.
Looking at this moment that is today, where Kamala Harris was interviewed by the Wall Street Journal, and she said she's stands ready to serve if that ever came up as vice president, obviously. This is someone who was appointed to be the border czar. Did you ever get the sense that she was heavily involved in fixing this crisis?
No, and what she's been focused on, again, is remember 3 countries, the Northern Triangle countries. That's Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. She is focused on the quote-unquote root causes there. Well, the problem with that is we've got over 160 countries from around the world showing up at our border now. Primarily, we're getting a lot of Chinese, Venezuelans, men from Africa. The northern country has nothing to do with those countries. So those efforts she's putting into the root causes, that is going to do absolutely nothing to stop the sheer numbers we're seeing right now.
It just became a bigger and bigger political issue. You look at the primaries so far in Iowa, New Hampshire. This was the #1 priority for voters in those states far from the border. We've looked how it has affected everyone coast to coast. Bill, great reporting, and thank you. We'll be watching for that Fox Nation special border crisis. Thank you so much.